What's up mod squad, welcome to another Division 2 build breakdown video. Before we get into the video, if you're already subscribed to me, then don't forget to smash that like button as it really helps push our videos into the recommended section, which in turn helps the channel grow. Interaction is a big part of what helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and the extra support is very much appreciated. In today's video, we'll be looking at one of the best solo builds in the game for speed farming, SHD levels and XP. I'd highly recommend this build for new and returning players, and it's my go-to speed farming build for global events and season reward tracks. Thanks to Title Update 20, my favourite solo XP farming build received a nice upgrade in the form of a damage boost. This damage buff comes courtesy of the Model 700 Marksman Rifle. Previously, the go-to sniper or marksman rifle to use with this build was the White Death, but with the Model M700 receiving plus 25% weapon damage and an 8% optimal range buff, it's a no-brainer that this is the go-to sniper to use. This newly buffed marksman rifle paired with a determined talent means it's one-shot body shots for days, and if you're using the hotshot gear set as well, you won't even need to reload. Now there's two ways you can run this build, one being an all-out damage version and the second being damage with added survivability. Now to switch between these two versions, it only requires a simple backpack talent change. If you want all out damage, use a vigilance talent, which means increasing weapon damage by 25%, but using vigilance means you'll need to sit back more and can't be as aggressive in your movements. For the damage and survivability version, you want to run the bloodsucker talent, which will allow you to stack 100% bonus armor for each kill, while you have full bloodsucker stacks. This bonus armor will allow you to play more aggressive and take more risk, even in some instances allowing you to run a gun. For those of you who would recommend the Memento backpack, I'd say if you're intending to make a run and gun armor stacking sniper build, then yes. Coming soon by the way, but that kind of build isn't for everyone, and I think this version of the build will suit new and returning players better. This is a headhunter build, so you will need over 150% headshot damage, and I recommend initiating with red NPCs first, as they always get one shot without the headhunter active. From there, it's just a matter of hitting your shots and keeping the hotshot gear buffs and bloodsucker stacks active. This build isn't reliant on exotics, is easy to farm for and put together, and it gets public X's and territory controls done in less than a minute. Control points in free if you are knowledgeable of spawn points, and it's just a lot of fun to use, and plus, who doesn't like one shot in everything? Now we spoke a little bit about the build and I showcased some of what it's capable of, let's get into a quick build breakdown. Right guys, covering the specialization real quick, there are quite a few perks to using this specialization when it comes to sniper builds. One is the armor kit, repairs 100% armor, removes status effects and increases resistance to bleed, poison and burn for 20 seconds. The next reason is 15% increased weapon stability, reduced recoil and faster reacquisition of targets, so when you aim in your cursor will close really quick. We also gain 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles, allows for precision kills. And this is pretty nice to have. After 20 seconds in cover, you start generating 5 marksman and 5 rifle ammo every 10 seconds. So you can also run pistolero without having to worry. Another good thing about this specialization is killing enemies with headshots adds 2 to the ammo bar except for signature weapons. And that is pretty much it for the specialization guys, so with that said, let's move into the build breakdown. Right guys, starting off with the primary weapon, we had the Model 700, 1.4 million base damage, more damage than the White Death or the M44, slightly lower RPM just by 1, I believe the White Death has a 55 RPM, and we gain 2 more rounds in the magazine, the White Death only gives us 5. I rolled this for damage to targets out of cover, and we had the determined talent. After killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on an enemy will be granted a headshot. When it comes to the attachments, we have 3% headshot damage on the scope, 10% accuracy on the muzzle, and 5% weapon damage from the magazine. Now when it comes to the scope guys, I'm using 3% headshot damage. If you're struggling to hit your shots or get them off quick enough, I'd suggest going for 10% accuracy. Dropping 3% headshot damage isn't that big of a deal. Or if you're one of those people that like to scope in, you have the 8x scope, which will give you 30% headshot damage. So you'll be definitely hitting higher numbers, or you can have the digital scope for 45% extra headshot damage. When it comes to these scopes, it's all down to your personal preference, but seeing as I'm playing on console, I'll be sticking to the 3% headshot damage as it's just easier for me to aim and get my shots off. Getting into the gear pieces now, guys, starting off with the hotshot mask. Don't forget the bonuses. The 2-piece gives us 30% marksman rifle damage, 30% weapon handling. The 3-piece gives us 30% headshot damage, and then the overpowered 4-piece, first headshot with an MR will increase the headshot by 20%. Second consecutive headshot with an MR will give you plus 10% armor. If at full armor, it will give you bonus armor max plus 50% of current armor value. Third consecutive headshot will refill the magazine. From the 4th headshot forward, agents will get all 3 bonuses for each consecutive headshot kill. Missing a headshot will reset the cycle. We have this mask roll for 15% weapon damage, 10% headshot damage, and then 10% headshot damage via a mod. The chest piece is the named Chainkiller chest piece with the perfect headhunter talent. We have it roll for 15% weapon damage, 10% headshot damage, 12% critical hit damage, and then 10% headshot damage via a mod. Now you can switch that critical hit damage out for weapon handling, again if you're struggling to get your shots off quick enough. Moving on to our holster, we have 15% weapon damage again with 9.1% headshot damage, very close to fully optimizing this build and making it perfect. Moving on to our knee pads, hotshot knee pads with 15% weapon damage and 9.4% headshot damage. Our hotshot gloves, 15% weapon damage and 10% headshot damage. And then finally, our backpack, which is a Providence backpack, giving us 15% headshot damage, 15% weapon damage, 9.9% headshot damage, 12% critical hit damage, 10% headshot damage via mod. And then we have the Vigilance talent. This is the all-out damage version, guys. So like I said, Vigilance will increase your total weapon damage by 25%. You can also use the gift, which is the name version of this backpack, and it will take that 4 seconds down to 3. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, guys, if you want the survivability version of this build, all you have to do is switch out the talent for Bloodsucker. Killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of plus 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stack is 10, so you can gain 100% bonus armor on kill, which is easy to get with this build because you're one-shotting everything. So getting that kill within the 10 seconds is no problem whatsoever. And that's pretty much it for the build, guys. The sidearm doesn't really matter because we won't really be using it, as we don't need the extra crit chance or crit damage. When it comes to skills, I like to use the chem launcher so I can gain extra heals, and my second skill is the healing drone. Now if you want, you can use the decoy as well as the striker drone. These will serve as great distractions, pulling the attention off you, but I do recommend at least having one healing skill. The heals on either of these are pretty weak, but they're enough to regain your full armor. And that is pretty much it for the build, guys. We're going to move on to the stat sheet. I'm not going to talk all the way through it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, guys. I honestly don't think there's another build in this game that will get you through content as fast as this. Maybe a Hunter's Fury Regulus build. That's the only thing I think that can compete, really. Believe it or not, I will be bringing a run and gun version of this build out pretty soon, which is stupidly OP, and you shouldn't be able to run and gun with a sniper, but you can. Again, guys, don't forget to smash that like button to help us reach out 500 like goal that we never miss here on the channel. Share this video to help other agents and help us grow. Comment down below and I'll reply like I always do. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Mob Squad.
Can't even see them. Hostile detected. Incoming hostiles detected.